Hi, this is Julian Rasmussen. Welcome to the Provocative Hypnosis blog. In this particular video, I want to share how I made a recent trip to the dentist a bit more pleasurable. Now, I'm not going to brag. This was a case of very mild pain and very mild discomfort. So it was not anything fancy. It was not about using self-hypnosis to block out pain or anything like that. But I'm going to use this story to illustrate a very, very simple point that you know for a fact in your own life, most likely, and that is if you haven't really studied something extensively, and then you go into a field or you go into a particular activity and you really get into it, what you will almost always discover is that things are not quite the way they seem when you haven't quite looked into it. So it doesn't matter if it's a sport or if it's a particular profession. It looks quite different from the outside than it does if you really investigate it and you really get into it. And then you make the discovery that things aren't quite what they seem. Well, most people have not spent a lot of time applying this particular methodology towards their own internal experience. So I'm talking about, doing stuff like insight meditation, really looking at what's actually happening at a sensory level, moment to moment. If you develop some concentration capacity, and if you develop some capacity to really observe and watch your own internal experience with high resolution, you discover that the way things look and seem when you haven't done that start to look very, very different once you really pay attention. So, as an example of this, just last week I went in to do some stuff at the dentist, and again, this is not anything major. It's just about removing plaque from the teeth and stuff like that. There's some mild pain involved. And for me, I never had I would say, fear or anxiety of going to the dentist, but I've never liked the sensations of someone doing stuff, inside my mouth. It feels like they're building a house in there, or scraping stuff. I don't like the sounds. So for me, it's been unpleasant. It's been a slightly unpleasant experience that I have, I wouldn't say dreaded. It's too strong a word, but it's kind of been going on in the back of my mind. And what I would used to do is I would used to, just do concentration meditation, get really relaxed, and that would, for the most part, take care of it. But what I did this time was that I tended to my breathing just for a little while, just to get really, really comfortable. And then I used my concentration powers to really both feel and observe with precision every sensory experience that I could detect. And I attempted to notice as many changes in sensate experience as I could, second by second. If you practice this, you can train yourself to notice quite a bit. And what I would do is I would label sensations pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So I would just make this note internally of pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. And what I discovered was that while there were some unpleasant sensations here and there, most of the sensations that I actually experienced were either neutral or actually pleasant. this kind of changed my orientation towards going to the dentist. I mean, by really looking at the experience, I was able to see that something that I had labeled globally as something unpleasant, actually, when I paid attention, consisted of mostly pleasant and neutral experiences. So that was it wasn't a big deal, but it was a slight aha experience. So if you're going to the dentist, or you're having some sort of routine checkup, or you're doing something where you're kind of a passive participant and you don't particularly like the experience, this is a nice chance to practice your meditation skills. And it's a very nice opportunity to really take a look at your experience so that you can notice whether what you think is there is actually there, or whether it's just there when you're paying attention to or thinking about it in a particular way. So what do you call something that's only there when you think about it or pay attention to it in a particular way? That, per definition, kind of alludes to the fact that it's an illusion, it's an illusory experience. So the more you can see that, and the more you can make that discovery, the more insight you will get into the transitory, illusory nature of your own experience, moment to moment. You'll get more insight. You'll get a more accurate map, and you'll be slightly less deluded and a bit more sane than you otherwise would have been. So here's something else that I also did in combination with just noting pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. I would notice, and this is also an old meditation technique, so I would notice every time a unpleasant sensory experience vanished. So I just note gone internally, just gone, 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 gone. Often you can have several gones per second. So just notice, at a direct sensory level, every time a sensory experience or a mental image or some sort of internal dialogue vanished. This is also a very interesting technique to do, because we're so often so used to just noticing things after the fact, after it's already done, or we may have trained ourselves to attempt to notice sensate experience as it actually emerges, but we very often don't pay much attention to the vanishings of experience. And if you can do that, it really helps you to see at a deeper level just how transitory all sensate experience actually is. So once again, hope this was useful. If you have any questions, comments, if this inspires some sort of insight or idea, do let me know. Till next time, thanks.